fluorescent lights flickered overhead as I busied myself with restocking shelves in the deserted aisles of Walmart. It was a late-night shift, and the store was eerily quiet, with only the occasional sound of a distant register or the hum of the air conditioning breaking the silence. I tried to focus on my tasks, stacking boxes of merchandise with practiced efficiency, but a sense of unease gnawed at the back of my mind. As I reached for another box of electronics, I heard footsteps approaching from behind. I turned to see a tall, scruffy-looking man with a sly grin on his face. His presence sent a chill down my spine, and I instinctively took a step back. "Hey there, sweetheart. What's a pretty thing like you doing all alone in this big store?" he drawled, his voice dripping with false charm. I forced a polite smile, trying to maintain professionalism. "Just restocking. Can I help you find anything?" He chuckled, his eyes scanning me from head to toe in a way that made me uncomfortable. "Oh, I'm sure you can help me with plenty of things." I ignored his suggestive tone and focused on my work, hoping he would take the hint and leave me alone. But he lingered, watching me with a predatory gaze. "You work here all night by yourself?" he asked, his voice low and insidious. I nodded, keeping my responses short and curt. "Yes, but there are security measures in place, and I'm in constant communication with my colleagues." He leaned in closer, invading my personal space. "Must get lonely though, right? No one to keep you company." I took a step back, the hairs on the back of my neck standing on end. "I managed just fine. Is there anything else I can assist you with?" He grinned, his yellow teeth gleaming in the harsh fluorescent light. "Actually, there is. How about you and me go grab a coffee sometime? I know a great place." My stomach churned at the thought of spending any more time in this man's presence. "I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Is there anything else you need help with in the store?" His grin faltered for a moment before he regained his composure. "No worries, sweetheart. I'll catch you next time." With that, he turned and sauntered off, disappearing into the aisles. I let out a sigh of relief, grateful that the encounter had ended without incident. But a nagging sense of unease lingered, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I hadn't seen the last of him. 2 nights passed without any sign of the creepy man, and I started to relax, thinking perhaps it had been a one-time encounter. But fate had other plans. It was a quiet Wednesday night when he reappeared, catching me off guard near the break room. I had just finished my rounds and was heading back to the stockroom when he stepped out from behind a display, his grin wider and more sinister than before. Well, look who it is," he sneered, blocking my path. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. "What do you want? I told you to leave me alone." He chuckled darkly, his eyes fixed on me with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. "Can't stay away, sweetheart. You're just too irresistible." I took a step back, my voice trembling. "Please, just go away. I don't want any trouble." He took a step closer, his breath hot against my ear. "Oh, we're way past that, darling. I think it's time we had a little chat." I tried to push past him, but he grabbed my arm with a vice-like grip, his fingers digging into my skin. I winced in pain, trying to pull away, but he held on tight. "Let go of me!" I cried, panic rising in my chest. He laughed, a cold, cruel sound. "You're feisty. I like that." Just then, the door to the break room swung open, and a co-worker stepped out, their eyes widening in shock at the scene unfolding. "Hey, what's going on here?" they exclaimed, rushing over to intervene. The creepy man released his grip and took a step back, his smile turning into a scowl. "Just having a friendly chat with this lovely lady here. No harm done." My co-worker helped me back to my feet, concern etched on their face. "Are you okay? Do you want me to call security?" I nodded frantically, still shaken from the encounter. "Yes, please." Security arrived quickly and escorted the man out of the store, warning him never to return. I breathed a sigh of relief, grateful for the intervention. But the fear lingered, a constant reminder of how vulnerable I had felt during those moments. In the days that followed, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every rustle of clothing or sound of footsteps made me jump, fearing it was him again. I confided in my coworkers, and together we stayed vigilant, keeping an eye out for any suspicious individuals. Thankfully, he never showed up again, but the experience left a lasting impact on me. I became more cautious, always checking my surroundings and making sure not to be alone in isolated areas of the store. It was a harsh lesson in the realities of working late-night shifts, a reminder that safety should always come first. As time passed, the memory of those encounters faded, but the lessons learned stayed with me. I never let my guard down completely, always mindful of the potential dangers that lurked in the shadows. The Saturday afternoon sun cast a warm glow over the Walmart parking lot as I arrived with my 3-year-old daughter, Anna. She was bubbling with excitement, her little hand tightly gripping mine as we entered the store. Anna's eyes sparkled with wonder as she pointed out toys and snacks she wanted. We made our way through the aisles, filling our cart with groceries and Anna's favorite snacks. She chattered happily, her innocent laughter filling the air. I kept a watchful eye on her, ensuring she stayed close as we navigated the busy store. As we approached the checkout counter, Anna's eyes lit up at the sight of a colorful display of dolls. "Mommy, look! Dollies!" she exclaimed, tugging at my hand. I smiled at her enthusiasm. "Those are lovely, Anna. Maybe next time, okay?" Anna pouted momentarily, but then moved on to inspect the next toy on the shelf. I focused on unloading our items onto the conveyor belt, momentarily distracted by the cashier's small talk. It was only when I turned to ask Anna about a snack that I realized she wasn't beside me. Panic surged through me, my heart pounding in my chest. "Anna, where are you?" Frantically, I scanned the area, but there was no sign of her. I called out her name, my voice tinged with desperation. The seconds felt like hours as I searched aisle after aisle, my mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Then, a wave of relief washed over me as I saw a woman holding Anna's hand near the edge of the parking lot. I rushed towards them, tears of gratitude welling up in my eyes. "Anna? Oh, thank goodness you're safe," I exclaimed, scooping her into my arms. The woman who had found Anna smiled kindly. "I saw her wandering alone and brought her here. She's a brave little girl." I hugged Anna tightly, whispering words of comfort and reassurance. But as I looked at the woman, something about her demeanor seemed off. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, and there was a hint of unease in her gaze. "Thank you so much for finding her." "I don't know what I would have done if something had happened to her," I said gratefully. The woman nodded and quickly made her way towards her car, casting a furtive glance back at us before driving away. A chill ran down my spine, but I brushed it off, relieved that Anna was safe. That night, after putting Anna to bed, I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. I decided to review the security camera footage from Walmart, hoping to understand how Anna had wandered off. What I saw on the screen made my blood run cold. A man had been following us through the store, his eyes fixed on Anna the entire time. He had waited for the perfect moment when I was distracted at the checkout counter, and then snatched Anna, rushing out of the store before anyone could stop him. Tears welled up in my eyes as I realized how close we had come to a tragedy. Anna slept peacefully, unaware of the danger she had narrowly escaped. I called the police immediately and showed them the footage, hoping they would catch the man before he could harm another child. The thought of what could have happened haunted me, and I vowed to always keep Anna close, never taking her safety for granted again. It was a typical Friday evening at Walmart, and I had stopped by after work to pick up a few essentials. As I strolled through the aisles, I noticed a sense of unease in the air, as if something was off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I reached the electronics section, browsing through the latest gadgets when I heard a commotion nearby. Curiosity piqued, I walked towards the sound and saw a group of employees gathered around a display, whispering anxiously among themselves. "What's going on?" I asked one of the employees, a young woman with a worried expression. She glanced at me, her eyes wide with concern. "There's been some strange activity in the store lately. Items have been going missing, and we suspect there's a thief among us." My heart skipped a beat at the mention of a thief in the store. I looked around nervously, suddenly feeling on edge. "Have you seen anything suspicious?" the employee asked, her voice hushed. I shook my head, trying to calm my racing thoughts. "No, I haven't noticed anything unusual." As I continued my shopping, I couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. Every aisle I turned, I felt eyes on me, making me increasingly paranoid. It was when I reached the checkout counter that things took a chilling turn. The cashier, a friendly young man, handed me my receipt with a grim expression. "Be careful out there. There's been reports of a man following women in the parking lot," he whispered, glancing over his shoulder. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. "What do you mean?" The cashier leaned in closer, his voice barely above a whisper. "They say he waits for women shopping alone, follows them to their cars, and then... well, no one knows what happens next." A chill ran down my spine as I realized the gravity of the situation. I thanked the cashier and quickly made my way towards the exit, clutching my shopping bags tightly. As I stepped outside into the dimly lit parking lot, I couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. Every shadow seemed to conceal a potential threat, and I hurried towards my car, keys at the ready. Just as I reached my car and fumbled for my keys, I heard footsteps behind me. My heart raced as I turned around, expecting to see the mysterious man the cashier had warned me about. "Leaving so soon, darling?" A voice taunted from the shadows. I froze, recognizing the voice but unable to place it. "Who's there?" A figure emerged from the darkness, a tall man with a sinister grin. "Just a concerned citizen, looking out for pretty ladies like you." My instincts screamed at me to run, but fear rooted me to the spot. "Please leave me alone." The man's grin widened, sending shivers down my spine. "Oh, I'm not going anywhere. You're just too much fun to scare." I fumbled with my keys, trying to unlock the car door. "I'm calling the police." The man laughed, a cold, mocking sound. "Go ahead, sweetheart. They won't get here in time to save you." Just then, a security guard appeared, drawn by the commotion. "Is everything okay here?" I breathed a sigh of relief at the sight of the security guard. "Thank goodness you're here. This man was harassing me." The security guard narrowed his eyes at the man. "You need to leave the premises immediately." The man's grin faltered, but he complied, disappearing into the darkness as quickly as he had appeared. As I drove away from Walmart, my hands still trembling, I couldn't shake off the terror of the encounter. The man's words echoed in my mind, a chilling reminder of how vulnerable we can be, even in familiar places.